If a 20-year-old gets an organ transplant from a 50-year-old, 30 years later, is that organ functioning as if it were 80 years old or 50 years old? The age if the donor is not the only factor. Different transplanted organs last different lengths of time. Hearts, lungs, kidneys, and livers have differing viability times. The recipient is also a factor. What is their overall health? Do they take their meds when required? And diet are also factors. This is not really an issue to worry about. Transplanted organs don't last forever. A pancreas, for example, will last longer than 5 years in only 57% of patients. Lungs, only 52%. Heart, about 76% get past 5 years. Just a quick point, many organs aren't going to last 10 years. The immunosuppressants in operation do a lot to the body and organ. The organ is also always under attack by your body, and they fail quite often. I used to match and test organs for donors and donees * and for infectious diseases before transplant. Which you can still accept if you want. Single quote closing square bracket. Transplanted organs actually slowly deteriorate due to chronic rejection. Transplant patients take medications to slow this process, but it does not stop it completely. So in your example, the organ probably would not last 30 years, but if it did, it would be in a very poor state. No matter what, if the receiver needed the organ, an 80-year-old organ is better than their own. And these numbers hit a little close to home for me, as my 53-year-old mother passed away earlier this month and her heart was donated to a 25-year-old mother. Our body's tissues get recycled over time. Some of the cells of an organ die and get substituted by new ones. So, isn't the 50-yo organ transplanted into a 20-yo going to be a 50-yo organ only in the first period, while the young body slowly substitutes its cells with new ones? I wouldn't expect it to be 20-yo-like, but not 50 either. More like something in between. I'm just asking. Donated organs generally don't last 30 years. That being said, the donated organ would not function as a healthy 20-year-old organ, and it would almost certainly have less functionality than it did in the 50-year-old donor. Single quote closing square bracket. Not to be a downer, but transplants don't last 30 years. A patient is lucky to get 5 to 10 years before needing another transplant. As soon as the organ goes in, it is being attacked. Plus, the meds to maintain a transplant can sometimes cost upwards of $10,000 a month. Start missing a dose because of financial trouble and you reject. Single quote closing square bracket. Depends how well the body tolerates the new organ. If immune system isn't a fan, then the organ will age quickly. In mice, blood transfusions from the young can rejuvenate old tissues, so I'd imagine it can go either direction. It makes sense that an organ has an age and a lifespan, but how is this reconciled with the fact that we are constantly growing and replacing cells in the body? If the donor was older, wouldn't the organ be replenished by cells from the recipient over time? If this question is ill-conceived, forgive me. Single quote closing square bracket. Side, additional question. Patient A gets patient B organ, patient A dies of non-transplant related issue. Could the organ that B donated to be used for patient C? If so, are there any organs that would not support this type of transplant? Edit. Thanks for the silver anonymous Redditor. Good day to you. Well, I think not. I was once reading a study that used to inject old rats with younger rats' blood. Studies showed that after the injection, older rats started looking more active. They were running in the wheel, chasing each other instead of moving only when necessary and eating. Maybe it goes same for humans? Maybe our blood will make organ function better and longer? A transplanted organ will function according to the donor, so in this case it would be like an 80-year-old organ. One exception to this is the liver. It had unique regenerative qualities not present in other organs. This is why it's possible to grow a full liver from a single lobe. The liver has 4 lobes, I believe. So if you took an Olympic athlete and gave him the heart of an 80-year-old, he wouldn't be an Olympic athlete anymore. What about if you gave an 80-year-old an Olympic athlete's heart? Would he be able to dance to his heart's content? This is somewhat of a moot question because transplanted organs don't usually last that long. Maybe 20 years if you're lucky. And younger donor organs are healthier and tend to last longer than older organs, so recipients prefer younger donors if they have a choice. They won't use donated organs if the wannabe donor is older than a certain age, I believe. 60, I think. Single quote closing square bracket.